So if you've got blocks, one towards the top, one towards the bottom. If you just have one towards the top. If you've got none, you're good. And we're going to start this class in a wide-kneed child's pose. So take your knees about as wide as your mat. Toes generally to touch, hips back towards your heels, arms out in front of you. First, we'll stay here for just a couple soothing breaths. Welcoming the breath into your body. Acknowledging the breath as it exits. And setting a dedication or intention for this practice, something that will serve you, maybe something that you have been working on. Perhaps simply the joy of play, the fun of exploring, the lila. We'll take a deep breath in together, fill up all the way, feel your ribcage expand in all directions. Exhale, fully release. Come all the way to the valley of that exhale, and then start another inhalation. Slowly, fully, deeply, easily. Exhale, release, let go again. And then once more on your own. Reach your arms further out in front of you so that your elbows might come away, come up onto your fingertips. Even lift up your chin and look towards your hands. Reach your shoulders back as your fingertips claw forward, pressing your hips towards your heels. And then walk your torso over to the right. Your arms come with you as well. Left hip pulls back to the left heel. Lift up about halfway and then wander over to the other side. So belly over left thigh, right arm comes up really, really, really long. Right hip pulls toward right heel. Starting to find some lengthening through the sides of our bodies. Inhale, come right back up and make your way to center. Lift up to your hands to your knees. Place your knees under your hips and realign your heels in line with your knees. Tabletop position. On an inhale, release your hips all the way down. Reach hips up, belly down. Chest turns up, shoulder blades back toward each other. And then on an exhale, come into cat pose, pulling your hips in towards your ribs, really drawing your chin into your chest. Again, inhale, swim your heart forward, hips rise up. Exhale, press into your cat pose. And then once more like that. Tuck your toes, press your hips back towards your heels, and then start to extend your hips upward, moving into downward facing dog, first one of this class. So your fingertips are still spread really, really wide, all that same activation in your hands. It is early, so maybe take a little bit of a wiggle to your hips or to your heels. Again, emphasizing the lengthening of the sides of your body here. On an inhale, rise to your toes, come to the top of a plank pose. Make any realignments that you need to make sure that you've got generally your wrists, elbows, shoulders in kind of a straight line, low belly in, reach your heart forward, press back through your heels. Stay here for just a couple breaths, building a little bit of heat. And then on an exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, puff up your back, and roll your way up and back to downward facing dog. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, rise to toes, come to the top of a plank pose, full breath in. And then when it's time for your exhale, chin to chest, press up your upper back and rock your way back to downward facing dog. Once more, inhale, roll yourself forward. Full breath in. Exhale, full breath out. Take it all the way back. Bend your knees, look towards the top of your mat. And on an exhale, step or hop all the way to the top, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, fingertips to shins or the mat. Look forward. Exhale, release all the way down. Reverse swan dive, press through your feet, take your arms up toward the ceiling, send your chin upward. And on an exhale, take your hands to your heart center. Arms alongside your body, Tadasana. Inhale, palms lift, chin turns up, really, really tall. Exhale, hands at your hips, forward fold. Maybe you bend to your knees still. Breath in, halfway lift, look up. Exhale, fold, step back to the top of a plank pose. And then we're going to lower to or toward your mat through Chaturanga. If you go halfway, keep your shoulders over your in the same line as your elbows, untuck your toes, take the back bend of your choice. And then on an exhale, rock it up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Deep breath in, bend your knees, look towards the top of your mat, and on an exhale, travel to the top. forward fold once again, Ardha Uttanasana. Look out, exhale, fold. Make your way all the way to standing, root to rise. On an exhale, hands to your heart center, and then arms alongside your body. Inhale, palms lift up, chin turns up. Exhale, forward fold, bow all the way down. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, offer your heart. And then fold once again, step back to the top of a plank pose. Now on an exhale, lowering through chaturanga all the way to your mat or halfway. Keeping your shoulders up, untuck your toes, back bend, upward facing dog, cobra, locust. Exhale, downward facing dog, deep breath in. Deep exhale. Bend your knees, look beyond your hands, and then simply hop to a seat in the center of your mat. We're going to come into a boat pose. So bring your shins up. We're going to take the knees bent variation as we find a little bit of dynamic movement. Hands to the backs of your thighs, bring your arms out, about in the same line as your shins. On an inhale, extend heels outward, lean back, hover your upper shoulders, look toward your feet. Exhale, draw your knees in. Inhale, take it out. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, draw in. One more time like this. And then recline onto your back, keeping your shins lifted as they are. Arms up over your head, or you can take your arms alongside your body for more stability. Arms overhead might provide you with a little bit more of a challenge. Inhale, right leg extends up, left leg comes out to hover, flexing through both feet. To exhale, draw back to starting. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, reach up with the right leg. Exhale, draw in. Once more like this, then we're going to pull in that side body motion. So inhale, right leg comes up, swing the left arm across your body, so forearm to right thigh. Connect back to starting. Right leg up, left arm across, back to starting. Right leg up, right arm, left arm across, back to starting. 2 more times. All right, this time, left leg up, right leg comes out to hover. Draw back to starting, shins gently toward the center. Left leg up, right out to hover, back to center. 3 more times like this. Think of your inhales as when you're extending your knees, and your exhales as you draw back to center. Okay, we're going to bring in that cross body motion. Left leg up, right arm comes across, forearm to thigh generally. Take it back to start. Left arm up, across your body. Come back to start. Left leg up, right arm across body. Back to start. 3 more times. All right, come back to that starting position whenever you're ready. Drop your left foot. It's just gonna, your toes point towards the mat. Right leg is up, a little bit of momentum. On an inhale, you're going to reach your right thigh towards your chest. Your hips might lift up a bit. And then come back, extend left leg out to hover. Right leg lifts up and over. Left leg out to hover. Up and back, left leg to hover. Find your rhythm, find your movement here. And then just one more time. Come back to starting position. This time you're going to take your right leg up and back. And then your exhale, instead of extending your left leg, your right leg will arc all the way down to hover. So more of a range of motion. Inhale, right leg comes up and back. Exhale, swing all the way down, longest arc, hover. Right leg up and back, swing your leg all the way down. Find your rhythm once again. And then come back to your starting position. Right toes generally point down, left leg points up, lift up, left leg comes back, right leg extends out to hover. Left leg up and back, rock it back. Right leg comes out to hover. Find your rhythm. And then we're going to come back to starting. Just like the other side, this time your right knee is generally pulled in still. Your left leg will come up, and then you'll swing it all the way down, drawing a big arc along the ceiling to hover your heel. So inhale, reach back, exhale. Draw that really big line. Circle up and back. Draw your arc again. Find your rhythm. Generating a lot of warmth here. And then after that last time, bring both knees in towards your chest, interleaving pose. Pull your knees closer towards your armpits, really taking an active stretch here as you draw your shins down towards you, point your toes towards you, press your shins against your hands. Deep breath in. Notice any temperature changes that you have created. Exhale deeply. Cool off. One more time, deep breath in. Exhale through pursed lips, like you're drinking through a straw. I guess one more through a straw. Take your hands to the backs of your thighs. Rock up and down the length of your spine. And you're going to come all the way up to a forward fold, maybe without using your hands. Come all the way forward. Forward fold, top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, look up. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, come up all the way to standing. Stretch out through the front of your body. Taking a slight back bend. Exhale, hands to your heart center. And then bring your arms alongside your body. Feet or hips width distance apart. Sit your hips low, arms up. Utkatasana, chair pose. Wrap your pinkies toward each other. Elbows are shrugging down. Shift the weight over to your right leg, and you're going to step your left foot all the way back to the back of your mat. Wiggle the back foot back, spiking the heel over your toes so you can drop your right thigh even further. Take your hands to your low back, interlace your fingers. Notice which pinky's on the outside. Drop your knuckles, lift up your heart and on, and exhale, hinge forward, humble lunge. Right hip draws back. And for this one, we're going to really aim to reach ourselves forward. So you've got length through the sides of your body, maybe bringing your right shoulder closer towards your right knee. Continue to spike up through that back heel. Just breathe. Keeping the clasp as you've got it. Lift your torso back up, straighten the front leg. Turn all your toes to the left to the wide side of your mat. Make sure that your feet are about parallel to each other. Knuckles are still clasped. Our fingers are clasped. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, hinge forward. Shift the weight over to the balls of your feet. Reach your knuckles up and over. Just breathe. And then take your hands back down to your waist. Release your fingertips down toward the mat. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, Skandasana to the left, shift it over. So toes turn up. Start to bring your hips down towards your heel. Lift up and then shift Skandasana over to the other side. So hips toward the right, left toes come up. Start to move from side to side, exploring some of this mobility. And then if and when you're ready, bring your hands in towards your heart center, placing a little bit more emphasis on the lower body, but still shoulders back, kind of like you're finding a cobra pose through your chest, through your shoulders. And then make your way back to that wide-legged fold. Send your heels back out, toes slightly in. Inhale, halfway lift. On an exhale, you're going to cycle back to the front of the mat so that you're in a low lunge, hands to the mat. Drop your left knee down toward the mat. Inhale, arms come up, Anjanasana. Scissor your thighs together, descend your hips down. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Take your hands back down to the mat. Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. Shift your hips back, right toes come up. You might need to wiggle the right foot forward. Flex your toes towards your face. Right heel draws back. So you're scissoring your thighs together here. And then exhale, hinge forward once again. Long, slow breaths. Still find activity through your back toes, whether your toes are tucked or untucked. All right, inhale, lift up halfway. Rebend into the front knee. And you're going to simply walk the right foot out to the side. Lift up. Take your body more at an angle to the left. And we're going to start to move into a lizard variation. Keep pressing through the right foot. You might come down onto the block. You might come all the way down onto your forearms. Again, finding length to the sides of your body here. So there's a little bit of a twist going on as you can feel your right rib cage draw down, still lengthening through the left side as well. All right, inhale, lift up halfway. Take your torso back to center. Realign your right foot underneath you. Tuck your back toes, lift up the back knee. Step your left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, descend, forward fold. Root to rise, come all the way up to standing. Keep your arms lifted, check out your feet, make sure they're hips width distance apart, sit your hips low, Utkatasana. Shift the weight back towards your heels, shoulders down. Shift the weight to the left foot, step your right foot all the way back. Wiggle the foot back, 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 back. So you can descend your thigh down, keep lifting through the right inner thigh, hands to low back, interlace, opposite pinky on the outside. Drop the knuckles, lift up your heart, find length, exhale, hinge forward, humble lunge. Again, we're looking to find length through the sides of our body, scissor your thighs together, a bit of balance. Reaching your left shoulder more towards your left knee. Just breathe. Okay. And again, keeping the clasp best you can. Lift your shoulders up, stacking shoulders over torso, straighten the left leg, turn your toes in towards the long side of your mat. Other side. This time, release your fingertips. Inhale, arms come up. And then hinge forward. Wide-legged fold. Whenever you're ready, release your hands down to the mat. Halfway lift, come out. Lifting up through the sides, bodies. And then on an exhale, you're going to bring your chest towards your left leg. So you're going to start to angle your right shoulder down. Like you could bring the right side of your rib cage to your left outer knee. So you're really still trying to find length as you find a bit of a twist here. Inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, you're going to walk your way over to the right leg. So on this side, it's like you're bringing the left side of your rib cage towards the outer right knee. Shift the weight over to the balls of your feet slightly. And then come back to center again, lift up. Skandasana over to the right side, toes out. Maybe immediately bring your hands to your heart center if you'd like. And then begin to shift from side to side, Skandasana. And again, if you've got two blocks, you might have one towards the back of your mat to provide you with just a little bit more support. And then once you're ready, come back to that wide-legged fold, kicking your heels out slightly. Inhale, half lift. And then keeping it low, wander back to the front of your mat. Drop the right knee down. Arms come up, Anjaneyasana. Scissor your thighs together. Press through the toes of the back foot, whether tucked or untucked. And then descend your hips down even more. Continue to find that engagement between your thighs. Exhale, plant your hands on either side of the front foot. Half splits once again. Ardha Hanumanasana. Half Hanuman pose. Flex left toes up towards your face, reach your heart out, left hip draws back, exhale, hinge forward. Also, feel free to take a little bend to this extended knee here. It doesn't need to be fully extended, and also avoid fully locking out. All right, inhale, lift up halfway, rebend into the front knee. So you're in this low lunge. Step your left foot out to the left. We're going to take a lizard version. And then take your torso slightly out to the side. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale, start to descend your chest down toward the mat, not sacrificing the length that you've been creating. Again, you might come down to a block here, or perhaps down to forearms. Keep your left foot pressed into the mat actively. Keep your right toes pressed into the mat, whether you have toes tucked and you're flicking away, or your toes are flared out. All right, inhale, come up about halfway. Walk your hands back to center, realign your foot. So you've got your foot, knee, and hip all about in the same line. Tuck your back toes, lift up your back knee. Step back to downward facing dog. Deep breath in, full breath out. On your next inhale, rise to your toes, come to the top of a plank pose, flip to the tops of your feet, pointed plank, and then release your hips down toward the mat. Don't let them drop, coming to an upward facing dog. Send your chin slightly up, inner elbows point forward. On an exhale, start to lift your hips up, coming through pointed plank to pointed down dog, and then flip over your feet back to downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. On your next breath in, right leg lifts up and back. On an exhale, place your foot between your hands towards your right thumb. Angle left foot down like warrior two. Get your lower body strong. Start to release your right hip down even here. Cycling your inner right thigh up. And then on an exhale, unravel, warrior two, first time. So your hips low. Engage your glutes slightly. And notice if your knee of your right leg is starting to extend beyond, and then maybe just wiggle the back foot back a little bit. Just breathe. Shift your weight forward, surfing forward. We're going to come to an side angle pose, first with forearm on top of the right thigh. So we can really explore taking the right rib cage upward, left fingertips up toward the ceiling. And then cycle your left arm up and over your ear. So let's think about right side of waist long, left side of waist long, right side rib cage turning up, really press to the outer edge of the left foot. And breathe. On an exhale, back to warrior two. Straighten the front leg, and then move into Trikonasana pose. The same but different, but the right leg is straightened. So step forward, right hand comes down, left fingertips come up. Right side of rib cage turns upward, inner right thigh turns up as well. Press down through both feet. And then back to warrior two. And then let's move into side angle again. Surf forward. This time, you might consider taking your right hand down to the mat, or grab a trusty block, hand to block. So take your left hand to the right rib cage, coax it upward. Feel that rotation. Left arm up and then over your head, extended side angle. Continue reaching forward through the inside of your right thigh so that your right knee does not collapse inward. Okay, this is fun. We're going to take a bind here. So your left arm flips around, flip it shoulder, elbow, wrist, and then you have your hand to your low back, down to the inside of your thigh, or maybe kind of dropping below your thigh, waiting for the right hand. If you want to take the other side, release your right shoulder down, scoop your right hand around, continue pointing the right side of your rib cage upward, lengthening, trying to head towards top of that still. Just breathe, descend your right thigh down lower. Long exhales. Okay, release the bind that you've taken. And then you're going to come back to a low lunge, set the block to the side if you used it. Taking lizard pose again. Take right foot out to the side. Left knee can be up or down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, start to descend your shoulders, your forearms down to the mat, keeping shoulders lifted best you can. 3 more breaths. All right, press your hands back into the mat when you're done with your third exhale. Wiggle the right foot in, back to center, so you're in a low lunge. Step back to downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. If you'd like, take a vinyasa right now. So you could do that by inhale, roll to the top of plank pose. Exhale, lower through chaturanga to or toward mat. Upward facing dog, cobra or locust. And then exhale, back to downward facing dog. On an inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale, place your foot between your hands toward left thumb. Angle right foot down like warrior two. Already here, start to descend your left thigh down, scooping your left hip underneath you, setting yourself up, get a strong foundation. Exhale, unravel, warrior two. Snap, crackle, pop. Left rib cage is pulling toward the long side of your mat. Finding a little bit of a twist in your torso here as you look beyond your left middle fingers. All right, surf everything towards the front of your mat. We're going to take forearm to left thigh first. Right fingertips up toward the ceiling. Left rib cage rolls up. Really press through the left forearm so you're not sinking into your shoulder. Rather, you're creating even more lift and spaciousness. Excuse me. Keep releasing into the left thigh. Again, notice if you've created a little bit more flexibility, maybe you need to wiggle the right foot up even a little further. If you like, cycle right arm up and over, moving toward that extended side angle shape. All right, on an exhale, come back to warrior two. Straighten the front leg, Trikonasana pose. Lengthen your left leg back so much that you're sending your hips back, reaching forward, left fingertips down towards thigh, calf, ankle, or floor, or block. Right fingertips up toward the ceiling. Again, let's focus on side body lengthening. Left side of your rib cage is turning up, long through the crown of your head, growing taller, taller, taller. And then exhale back to warrior two. Side angle pose once again. Start forward. This time, instead of taking your forearm to your thigh, you might come down to block or down to the mat. I'm going to use block today. And then reach your right arm up and over. As we did on the other side, you might feel like you'd like to take your right hand to your left side of your rib cage and then coax it upward. A little bit of encouragement. I think we could pretty much all use that. All right, and then let's start to play with our bind. So start with the top arm. Twist at your shoulder, elbow, wrist, and then your hand to your right hip, low back, left hip, scooping around your thigh, or like leave it there, ready to meet through the left hand. Drop your left shoulder, take your left hand behind. Maybe you're grasping your clothes, maybe you're grasping fingertips again. Left rib cage, coaxing upward, press to the outer edge of your right foot. Inner left thigh is reaching forward, left hip is scooping back and under. This is keeping your knee safer. Just breathe. All right, release the bind that you've got. Take down hands to the mat. Pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Wiggle the left foot out a little bit further. We take a lizard pose once again. Option to drop the back knee if you'd like. I'm going to keep it lifted. When you're ready in your exhale, start to descend down. Just breathe. And then come back up to your hands from your forearms if you took that. Wiggle your left foot back in towards the inside. So heel, knee, and hip are aligned. Step back to downward facing dog. If you'd like to move through Vinyasa, inhale, rise to the top of a plank pose. Exhale, lower towards your mat through Chaturanga. Untuck toes for a back bend. And then exhale, take it up and back to downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. Right leg extends up and back, tripod dog. Exhale, place your foot between your hands toward the right thumb. Get your butt close by if you would like it. Angle your left foot, heel down toward the mat. And we're going to move immediately into a side angle pose. So right hand to the inside of the right foot. This is the variation we're taking today. Or forearm to the thigh. Maybe take the left hand, coax the right rib cage upward. Start with the extended side angle. Left arm up overhead to send the thighs down. All right, let's move toward the bind. Sweep your left arm all the way around. And then we're going to move towards the right arm as well. Drop your right shoulder. Maybe you meet your hands together. All right, let's have some fun. If we want to play with bird of paradise, rather than stepping to the front of your mat, turn your right toes in. So you're kind of in this, like, your feet are almost in like wide-legged pose, right? Step your left foot in closer to your right. Magic. Press up through your right toes. Left, press into your left foot. Eventually lift up, pressing through left foot, coming all the way to standing, shoulders back, along through the sides of your body. And then, if you would like, start to extend the right leg out. Just breathe. All right, and then more fun. Keeping the bind, bend that knee. Bend to the left knee, place your right foot down to the mat. Step your left foot all the way back. Coming into bound, side angle. Right rib cage points up. Release the bind, right hand down, left arm up and over. And then rewind. Exhale, warrior two. Gaze out beyond your right middle finger. And then on an exhale, cartwheel all the way down to the top of your mat. Low lunge. Step your right foot back to meet your left. High plank. Exhale, lower through Chaturanga. Maybe all the way down to the ground. Untuck your toes, inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Take a few moments here in your downward facing dog. Maybe even take a child's pose or another restful posture. Take a few moments, acknowledge your practice, the dedication you've set, the heat that you've built, the focus you cultivate. In what ways can you mimic this in your life off of your mat? In what ways do you already? And then as you're ready, left leg lifts up and back. Exhale, place your foot between your hands toward your left thumb. Ankle right foot down like warrior two. Take your left hand to the inside of your left foot. And again, maybe you want to use a block. Maybe you want to take your forearm up to your left thigh. Scoot your left hip underneath you, long through the right leg. We're going to move immediately into our extended side angle, sweeping your right arm up and over. Or maybe you prefer to take right hand up and left hand onto forearm, left hand onto thigh. All right, let's move toward our bind. Sweep your right arm all the way around. Twisting at shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand to hip, or sneaking all the way down. And then let's drop the left shoulder if we want to take the other side. Scoop around, find your hand, find your shirt. Beautiful. Left rib cage, wrapping upward. Lots of length. And then let's move toward our peak pose. Turn your left toes inward. So you're facing alongside your mat. Start to walk your right foot in closer. Give yourself stability, help yourself out. You are your best friend. You know yourself the longest. And then shift the weight to the right foot. First coming up onto left toes. And then when you're ready, release weight from the left foot, come up all the way to standing. And then if and when you'd like, start to extend the left leg out for bird of paradise. Just breathe. Lots of length at the sides of your body. Then let's reverse the path. Start to bend the left knee. Bend through the right knee until your left foot touches the mat. Turn your left toes up, step your right foot all the way back. You are back to a bound side angle. Unravel. Side angle pose. Exhale, lift up. Warrior two, sit low. Reverse path. And then when you're ready, on an exhale, cycle all the way down till you're in a low lunge once again. Step back to the top of a plank pose. On an exhale, lower towards your mat through chaturanga. Untuck toes, inhale, back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. Once again, take this opportunity to check in with yourself. The quality of your breath, the quality of your thoughts. And then when you're ready, bend your knees, look beyond your hands and simply hop to a seat in the center of your mat. And then roll onto your back. Bend your knees, place your feet into the mat. Bring your arms alongside your body, shrug your shoulders underneath you. We're going to take a bridge flow. Inhale, lift up your hips, reach your arms up and back. Maybe even lift up your heels, a little tension to your bum here. Exhale, wave it all the way back down, hands and heels drop. 2 more times. Very nice. Take your feet wide. So your feet are about to the edges of your mat. Drop both knees over to the right. Send your knees up to center and then drop both knees over to the left. Come back to center. And then we're going to lift up your shins. Cross the right thigh over the left. Taking a reclined Hanumanasana. Take your hands to reach your calves, ankles, or feet. And then recline back using the strength of your arms to draw your feet away, your heels away from you. Maybe even ever so gently start to press your hips down toward the mat. Release your feet, uncross your legs, cross the left thigh over right. And then hands to reach for your calves, ankles, or your feet. Hanumanasana, reclined other side. Start to bring your feet away from each other. Use your hands to help you out. And then maybe gently, gently start to press your hips back down towards the mat. Release your feet. Unravel your legs. Place your feet back into the mat. Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined down angle pose. Bring the soles of your feet together. And then knees wide. Make sure that your shoulders are firmly underneath you. You might choose to take one hand on heart, one hand on belly, or take arms wide. If it is comfortable for you, allow your eyelids to close. And remove visual stimuli. Notice if you can feel the body working, even through stillness. Residual effects of an active asana practice. Turning the focus more inward. Moving from moving meditation to still meditation. And if you would like to take Shavasana in this posture, please do. If you would like to move into more a traditional corpse pose, then please make the adjustments that you need. Soften the muscles of your thighs and your belly, your hips. Allow your back to reach back and just recline. Feel the fronts of your shoulders drip down toward the mat. Release through your throat, bottom jaw, tongue, the back of your head, back of your neck, kind of all the way up. And again, if it's comfortable for you, allow your eyes to be closed. And simply exist. If you'd like to take more time in your Shavasana, please do so. Resting for as long as you'd like, for as long as you need, for as long as time allows. Alternately, if it is time for you to start your day, take a very deep breath in and exhale. Release any expectations, obligations that you may have. They'll be there for you if you need to. No worry, no need to cloud. Another very deep full breath in, drawing in all this practice has to offer you, all that you've created. And exhale that out into the world. And slowly, slowly start to invite that physical activity. If you are leaving your Shavasana pose, maybe taking a good morning stretch, reaching your arms up above you and extend your legs out in front of you. And then roll over onto one side. Again, if you would prefer to rest, stay resting, please. And then keeping your eyes closed or soft as best as you can, make your way to a seated posture to close out our practice. Press your palms toward each other, thumbs to your sternum, lift up to the crown of your head. A few moments of reflection on this practice, the work put in on the mat, and the work you put off. On an inhale, bring your arms out and up, palms press above your head. On an exhale, take your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows for clarity of thought, to your lips for clarity of speech, and then down to your heart for clarity of action. Bow your head to your heart in humility, in gratitude, and in honor. Thank you so much for creating this community. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping me with my own practice, helping me to bring my practice off of the mat and into the world. I'm eternally grateful for you, and I cannot wait to see the work you do out in the world. Namaste. Satchitananda.